Yeah, it's not just a coming out story. That's what I tell people. It deals with struggle, deals with the family, the culture that reigns supreme, deals with my son. I was very fortunate to have one. God bless. And it deals with coming out and also the suicidal and the depression that comes with the story. So it's much more than just a coming out story. And I do believe I'll be the first Australian with a Lebanese Christian background to come out publicly.
And one who has a son.
Yes, and I was very blessed and to have him. So,
okay, so what prompted the book? What?
Okay, the worst day of my life, and that was through the suicidal attempt, happens to be the best day of my life. That is when "Oh My God, Am I Right" came into fruition. So I was talking about my struggles and writing it all down. That really was the best medicine for my depression.
Okay, so you're suicidal and you think, well, okay, it can't get any worse from here.
Yeah. Well, it's basically talking about my life journey and my life story. That was merely the best medicine for me to deal with, you know, the whole depression side of it. And it was just writing my story down and having people believe in the story.
Okay, so tell us about some of the difficulties that sort of got you to that state.
Okay, so I was very out of touch with my family. Family don't understand the whole homosexuality side of things, and I was brought up in a Christian value, and which to them there's no room for homosexuality. I was very lonely growing up, and at 19 years of age, I was taken over to a trip to Lebanon, back to my roots. And I was, let's just say, use the words, arranged, brainwashed into marrying my first cousin at 19 when I was a virgin.
Wow, now that must have been... Now, had you met your cousin before?
No, embedding the, such a young age when I was probably about 8.
Oh, wow.
Like brainwashing seems, it was one of those things where at 19 it was my destiny to wed.
Now, how long had you known that was going to happen?
I had known as I was going through high school, and I had these thoughts of men coming to my mind, and I'd be like, no, I'd hit my hand across my head, my forehead, and it's like, this is not the way it is, the way I was brought up to believe. So I was still fighting at the fact that I was a virgin at the time at 19, marrying my 16-year-old cousin after knowing her after a matter of weeks. It was quite... it was quite heart-wrenching looking back, and I can't believe I've gone through it, and consummating the marriage was something else.
Okay, so your first your first cousin becomes your wife, and then presumably she comes from Lebanon to Australia?
Yes, and she falls pregnant after a month.
Wow.
So there's one thing I can take with it is that I'm very light-hearted and I don't shoot blanks.
I was going to say, I'm glad you got there first, because I was going to say, well, he's definitely got lead in his pencil.
And I did what any other, older Australian, Lebanese brother would do, and produce a child to the Lebanese community, which is something that I'm very proud of, and I've done. So I'm a man.
Okay, so how long were you married for?
I was married for 3 years until I went out to Oxford Street one time, and Kylie Minogue is my legend. I love her. She plays a very vital part of my journey. And it was at one of the Aubrey shows, a drag queen singing Kylie hits, that brought me the first steps into Oxford Street. And that's when I knew I was in an environment that was just, it felt right. And that was the first time I remember looking at the barman at the time, and I was attracted to a man, and there was my wife standing right next to me.
Wow.
Oh,
now so what does your wife think of this? Does her world crumble, or?
Yeah, unfortunately, I was treating her very. There was never love. There was never love there. At the beginning, we were taught that love comes after marriage, and we'll grow to love each other. But there was no love. There was physically, I was pushing her away, as well as mentally and emotionally, and I felt gutted that I was treating her like that. It's only because, to be frankly honest and genuine about the way I'm going to have to say these words, I'm sorry, radio, but I could not get it up to be able to make love to my ex-wife.
Okay, so now are you still mates with your ex?
I am to a certain extent. There's always this little hate.
Yeah.
There's a little something about she's always loved me, and I've always loved her, but we're cousins.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now tell us a little bit about the book, because
Okay.
I mean, we could talk forever, and I'm just looking at the clock. We've got about a couple of minutes.
Yeah, sure. It was a 7-year process. It's been in the making for 7 years. It's all about trial and error. I've had a first manuscript be ready, and that was done through Third Narrative. I needed to tell the story, so I got a ghostwriter in to help me write those things that I couldn't, as a writer, be able to explain to the reader. It was I've learnt patience. It tackles, as I said, I've come a full circle, so it gives hope also at the end that it's okay if I can do it. I was down there. Now it's time for for me to try to get out there and be that link between the community as well as like helpline, depression, and the Lebanese culture in general need to be educated to understand it's okay to be gay. And if I can put my face forward with the community, I'm sure that there will be a lot of people that I have already inspired that I don't even know. They're going through exactly what I'm going through, but they're afraid to come forward and be who they truly are. And it's such an important factor. There's like suicides. I had a friend kill himself because of him being gay, Muslim, and he could not. And this is the thing: if I can touch a life with it, I've done my deed with it, and it's merely for others to relate as well and understand it a bit more, that it's okay to be homosexual. It's okay if you're gay. Your family's still going to love you. If I can do it, I've come a full circle, and I've survived. They can do it.
Yeah, tell us. Yeah, no, and that's an amazing thing to have, a wonderful thing to have. Have a purpose for a book rather than just purely telling a story. To put something in there, and I think that is a wonderfully commendable thing to do. Now, tell us the name of the book again.
Oh My God, Am I Right? And there is the blog, which is ohmygodamiright.blogspot.com. So there's information on.
Thank you so much for coming
Amazing.
in. And I'm really looking forward to reading it.